Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years, and our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
Who would I have to become so that blank was normal? Meaning that, this is kind of next level, right? Was natural and normal. Meaning that flying that yacht, right? Flying my private plane to my helicopter to my private yacht, $85 million yacht in Miami, or whatever it is not just natural, that's normal. And that's the key thing that you want to be obsessed with, is who's that man or woman got to become. Now, what most people want to do, they want to go from making $30,000 to the dude on the $85 million yacht. Guess what? That won't happen, because you got to build the man or the woman with iron sharpens iron for a very, very long time. It's like working out. Can't go from 350 pounds to doing a lean bodybuilding show, right? All natural. It takes a long time of carving and building that person, but the key here is how I'm on that journey, right? I've talked about this before, but I want to just kind of recap it for everyone. And this is kind of the breakthrough of what we run into overall in this business is this, right? And so we have these what? What does this look like to you guys?
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster. We ultimately have a peak. What's the opposite of the peak? A pit. Right? So we have here who I am on this person. And then ultimately, I'm doing what? Every time we level up, this is so true in our business of where we're at. Because before we can get to this next peak, and this peak in the way I look at it is a version of us. Right? Who do I got to become as a man? Right? I want to become here. The problem is, most people want to look at this as a linear thing. But it's not. And this is kind of big aha I'll get to in a second, is that they want this to be linear in regards to where we come from. The problem is, what I got to do? I wish, but yeah, I mean, in a way, what's got to happen?
Well, you got to go down to come back up.
Say that again?
You never stay on top. You have to go down to come back up. You have to.
Yep. And I talk about this too, is right. What I basically got to do is I got to be able to be willing to go into the pit to become that next version of me. I've got to be willing to go in the pit, aka the pain, to be that next version of me. Me, I got to get outside my comfort zone. I've got to be able to build that person up. I got to build me from the inside out so that what? I'm a bigger, better man in my example. Right? Your example, bigger, better woman, right? From an emotional skill set, mindset type person. The problem is most people here, they can't see here. Now here's the crazy part. Once I build myself up to this person, let's say I'm making $100,000 a year net, guess what? It's very, 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 very unfortunate, very happy for me to go back to that previous version of what I am. Right? It came back to a quote, I think, from Einstein. It's like, once the mind is bent, right, to see things a certain way, it can't go back to the previous way. And so what we got to do here is be obsessed with what? Building the man or woman from the inside out in regards to what we do. And I think I wrote that in regards to that. And there's different parts of that. But what happened is, most people, the reason they don't grow from this peak to this peak is what? Say that again. That's exactly what it was.
They're not willing to go to that pit.
The reason that most people will not go back to this next version, why are you stuck at 50, 60, whatever it is, right? You know, from a sales standpoint, why are you stuck at 20 homes a year? They're not willing to go here in the pit. So what do they tend to do? They stay right in their comfort zone here because they don't want to go through the pain of having to change who they are and build who they are. Why are they not to this next one? Because you haven't built a man yet to do so. Haven't built a woman yet to do so. And so you don't have the skill sets or mindsets or capacity to be this person on this peak and be able to stay there.
Because you haven't earned it yet.
100%, right? And the only way you earn it in this life is earning what? Through the inside out. It's crazy. Like, why do I not have the do the jet, whatever it is, or yacht? Because I haven't earned it. I haven't built that person yet. But I'm telling you, the difference is you don't focus on the jet. What do you focus on?
The person you have to become.
The person I got to become. Who do I got to become? I got to be obsessed with that. When I was riding around looking at the Bentleys and the Bugattis, I'm thinking like, who the hell is this dude, this woman, and what do they think like? What does their day look like? Because you better believe the amount of pressure they have, right, that they can handle and sustain is a hell of a lot more than I can. Just like some of you all, right? Someone with 10 pending deals has a lot more capacity than somebody with 2 pending deals. A couple of billionaires yesterday who lost $30 billion in the stock market yesterday, guess what? They probably got a little more capacity than I got, because some people be jumping off buildings, right? And so understandably, what do you got to do? Focusing on building the man or the woman. If you're brand new, what do you got to do? How do I got to focus, and who do I got to become to be on top of that board right here? I'm going to study and watch the ones that are doing it, because I want to become them. I want them to be my mentors, right? I want to understand what they need to do from that standpoint, because I got to get to that next peak. Now, here's the overall quote from that. It's going to be, you're going to feel worse before you feel better. You're going to feel worse before you get better. So you're brand new to this, guess what? It's okay. The pain comes from just arguing with the reality. And so once we understand this is okay, I'm in the pit right now, it's going to suck. I got to embrace the suck right now and push through this, because I know on the other side of this, I'm going to come out a bigger, better person. It allows me to do so. There's people in this room, though, have been here for a while, and they're stuck in the same exact place. The same exact place. And every opportunity that they have to level up and push forward and double down and go back to the pit, what do? Stay right in the same damn position, do the same exact thing. Meanwhile, guess what? There's somebody else hunting you down. And they're going to hunt you down, they're going to pass you. It happens to us as a company, us as a team, happens to everyone else in real estate too. And so I want to be obsessed with, I want to become this person here, up on this peak, who's powerful enough where it doesn't matter. Because guess what? That used to bother me a lot as a business person 5, 10, 15 years ago. Guess what? Don't even really lose an ounce of sleep over. But before, I wouldn't sleep for weeks. You know why? Because usually the story I have in my head is a lot worse than reality. But as my capacity grows from a person standpoint, as a businessman, in your case as an agent, business person, that capacity and energy you have is wider. So Jeremy, you used to get triggered by sellers about stuff before, right? In the beginning, what happened later on?
That's no big deal.
No big deal. And so was it the sellers or was it you that was a problem?
Me.
You, right? And so thankfully he's smart to see that, because guess what Jeremy focused on? Growing himself, right? Every time we have a meeting, you come in and listen to talk about, here's what happened, what I need to do here. And guess what you do? And what would you do the next day? Jump back in, Alex will hear you on the phone doing what? Battling with the sellers and having the things. And so you got to be willing to jump back in this pit for you ever to get back to this top part. And so if you take away from them today on that part, understand where you're at in this journey and be okay. My biggest aha was that the reason most people don't grow is they're unwilling to go back in that pit. And it all has to do with their standard of what's acceptable from them as a person. And here's the thing. Everyone gets tired of doing this after a while, like business-wise. Going in the pit, going up. But what you find is, if you don't keep going, what's going to happen? Life's going to come back. And I had a quote yesterday I was reading yesterday morning and said, if you lay down, life's going to run over you. Right? Very true, right? The minute you lay down is the minute life runs over you. And so what I want to be obsessed with is becoming that man or woman on the peak here of ultimately where I want to be 5, 10, 15 years. Because that makes the small things worth it, doesn't matter anymore. And it also makes me appreciate the journey. And so once I become obsessed with the person that sells 50 homes a year, 60 homes a year, 70 homes a year, 80 homes a year, guess what? The journey becomes worth it, more valuable. And I wrote this down somewhere, is you got to be willing to hunt down the person. And I wrote down something too, is that I've got to have something that's worth fighting for. If you're not obsessed with being this person here, you're going to stop right here where it's not worth fighting for. And the thing worth fighting for is you, and that version up there was making whatever amount of money with this amount of money in the bank, right? And so the key part is, number one, having the vision, and two, the obsession of who would I have to become so that X is normal to me, right? You go from selling 70 homes a year, you sell 40 homes the next year, what happens? You're in the pit. Well, you're not very happy, right? Life becomes very painful at that point. And so that's just something that's important to understand as well. And so me, right, I'm interested in the man up here every single day. And so once I do that, what happens? My decisions and my commitments, do I stack in the morning? Yep. Why? Because I got to get this mindset so I can be able to get there. Do I read and study in the morning? Yep. Do I listen to podcasts in the morning? Yep. Why? Because I want to be this person here, right? I don't need to do that to sell some houses. I need to do that to become the person here, right? Who owns multiple properties, all whatever the goal is in that situation. Y'all with me on this? Does that make sense there? And it's kind of one part they have to do is you got two things you got to change. For my new people, but ones that have been here for a while, I got to change two things. What's holding you back is two things right now. What is it? Yep. So my skill sets and mindsets is the number one thing that's keeping me from here. Is it safe to say the dude that has the $85 million yacht, the helicopter, and the plane probably has a different mindset than me? Safe to say that dude probably has a different skill set than me. Bet you he does. Bet you he knows more about financials and understanding buy and sell business, all this that I couldn't even wrap my head around. Right? Because I got to become that person here. And so the key is being obsessed with that. And so there's two things I got to do. Number one, I'll have to eliminate some of them. I'll have to add some other ones. How does that work?
Well, my initial thought about the pit is because I've been on the roller coaster before, and I try to stay out of the pit. And what I do is I try to take a snapshot, kind of like what we talked about before, and try to think about what I need to start doing, what I need to do differently, and what I need to stop doing.
Yep. Say that again. That's powerful. What is it?
What I need to start doing,
Uh-huh.
what I need to do differently, and what I need to stop doing.
Start, stop differently, right? It's important. And here's the thing. A lot of times people that aren't willing to see that new pit, they won't go in the pit to even look at it. Right? So what's holding back in the pit? And I wrote this down too. That was kind of valuable. I thought it was super important that I kind of wrote down. It says, because as I on my journey to the next peak, I will come face to face with my inadequacies. On my journey to my next peak, I'm going to become face to face with my inadequacies. That's a perfect example of the lady in the gym this morning that didn't want to get on the scale. Because if I'm not willing to look at that and go here, I'm never going to figure out how the hell to get off this peak and get to the next one. Is there times you're going to fall back in and you can't climb back out? Yeah, because guess what? You don't have the mindsets and skill sets to do so. And so the last time I want to spin the pit, you better believe I'm doubling down on mindsets and skill sets. Because the version of me can't make this jump to this peak, so I tend to fall back here continuously. And then guess what? It takes time. It takes years, but I got to be obsessed with who I'm becoming that process, right? In that aspect. And so the question I need to ask myself too, where do I need to think bigger? For myself? And it's true, like if I worry about one deal falling apart, guess what that means? I'm not thinking bigger, right? How do I have 10 deals? And you got to start, you can't go from 0 to 100. You can't go from, well, I want to do 50 homes this year when you sold 3, right? In the past, if you're brand new or whatever, right? How am I going to sell? Here's my goal for the first year. Once I knock that out, I move to the next one. But what I find naturally agents, they'll sell 10, 20 houses. They think, well, I should be running shit and I should be selling 50 homes a year. Well, the problem is, guess what? Done that yet. So I can't get to that point until I've secured my spot on the next peak, and then I can worry about the next peak. But the challenge of business, I can't jump from one to the other. You guys with me on this? And obviously there's different trademarks or thresholds from that part. Last couple one, right? I wrote this down, it was really important. The other thing too, what have you been avoiding for months that needs to be done? This is me for important, like especially financials and understanding these things, right? What have you been avoiding for months that needs to be done? That's important for you all because it's important to understand. Here's the last part. You plateau, aka stuck on here, because you've been unwilling to go to the pain pocket that's required to smash that plateau. It's true, right? And so that's the one thing that goes back, and the last part of this is I must accept full responsibility for what I'm doing or I'm not doing. I must accept full responsibility for what I'm doing or not doing, meaning that could be in the form of results, could be in the form of whatever it is, right? If I got all the tools, all the things here, right? X, Y, Z. I had this conversation last week. You know, if I got this going, I got all the tools, the leads, the processes, the opportunities, and I'm still not getting closed, what's the problem? Me. The minute though I'm looking externally like it's everyone else's problem, is the more I want to be stuck in the pit because I can't even see that I'm the problem. And so I've got to be obsessed with who's the man or woman here that closes the shit out of these deals every single time, no problem. That's what I got to be obsessed with. Not the $85 million yacht, because I can't even close some deals right now. I got to figure out how the I close deals right now. That's my next peak. And so get clear for you all what the next peak is.